I'm Trajal Harell. I I'm from the United States of America. I was born in southern United States in Georgia, then eventually found my way to New York, where I kind of became an adult, I guess. And eventually, I made my way kind of across the ocean to have more dance work, although I still work in the United States. And now I pay my rent in Athens. And, there you are, because I was going to say, the first thing I actually, and Athens, Greece, so closer to here. Yeah, so I was going to say, what would be really interesting is to have this talk again in 5 years and then in 10 years. I love those kind of things. That would be really nice. Anyway, that's an idea I have. It'd be nice to meet these guys in 5 years and then in 10 years. What is it now, 2019, 2024, and 2029?
I'm booked already. for this, I mean.
That's it. I'm double fisting. So that's who I am. That's where I'm from, who I am. Dancer, choreographer, lover, I don't know.
Fighter.
Fighter, you know. Peacemaker, hopeful, criminal. Yeah.
Now it's you, I guess.
We go from this side to this
I
side.
thought so, because then otherwise we have to go like.
Okay.
and then we go this.
Okay.
You know, you have to say. I mean, come on.
Okay. I'm Alessandro. I'm Italian.
How do you say your last name?
Sciarroni. Yeah, but in France they say Sciarroni. It's okay. It's okay. You can say whatever. So I thought you were Trajal Harell.
I am. That's good.
That's how we say it in Italy. I don't know why we say it like it was with a French pronunciation.
Yeah, that's okay.
And yeah, I'm a choreographer, though it has been hard for me to put this thing, choreographer, beside my name, because I come from theater and I was studying history of art. So 13 years ago, I did a piece, and for the first time, and I was sure that I was going to show it in the theater field. But then my piece was a little bit too minimalistic for the theater field. Also, it was very short. It was only 25 minutes. So it was not exactly working. And so I tried with the galleries. But at that time, it was 2007, maybe it was too much Baroque for galleries, my work. And so someone told me, why don't you try to propose your work to dance festivals? And I said, why? And so that's how it started. I remember I said some DVDs of my work, because there was the using DVDs.
Yeah, the DVD time, yeah. Oh, God, I like that.
And I remember I sent 5 DVDs, and I received 4 invitations. And I was, I was shocked. And that's how it started, and they started calling me choreographer, and I was a little bit surprised, but I mean today is okay. And yeah. I mean I love to work in this field, and yeah, and that's it.
Okay, so I'm Rafał, and for the last 7 years I lived in Berlin, and they call me Rafał, which is what immigrants do. They change their name without thinking twice, you know. Like, they want to call me that, then this is my name. So here I'm Rafał. And yeah, there's this whole thing about, like, are you, and, you know, dancer, choreographer. And I remember the first time I used this term, dancer choreographer, was because a friend of mine from the States sent me a skit. It was like a comic thing of somebody making fun of somebody else. And the other person was saying, I'm a dancer choreographer, I do that for a living. So I would say that as a joke at the beginning of the career. I would be like, I'm a dancer choreographer, I do that for a living. But this is what I do right now. I don't know. For me, it was kind of the opposite, because I went to the States and then I came back from the States. So I wasn't. Well, I guess it would be best for all of us if we were born in Italy, because.
I'm not sure.
I am. What else can I say? You know, really, honestly, I don't know. Dziemidok, which is weird and totally not Polish, and people have problems saying it.
Say it again.
Dziemidok.
Dziemidok.
What is it?
It's like from Belarus. Okay. And like in Poland, people don't think twice. They're just like, whatever, Dziemicki or something. But in Germany, they go like, Dziemidok. And I'm like, this is better than at home. I don't know. Yeah.
I was curious to know, because we just saw your piece, that I was saying to you that now the last thing that I would like to do is to talk about it, and talk about in general, but we are here, and I have the chance to talk with you, and I really want to. So maybe it's a very banal question, but how did you get to that? Because what I found moving, and in the sense that it was really moving me, was the fact that it's like nowadays, it looks like we are not allowed to go on the stage, play the music, and just dance. And I thought this was an incredible thing for me to witness today, because I was not feeling like I was needing anything else than this. So I'm curious to know, how did you get that? There, not that.
Well, as you know, we talked about a little bit. I had gotten this award. I woke up. I have to tell you the story since we're here. I woke up one morning and I got an email, and in the subject matter it was like, "You are the dancer of the year." And I thought, this is so strange. And I thought it was a spam where you get the subscription. You click on it and it's like your subscription. But then it looked like this was thing. So I called my administrator. I sent it to her, forwarded it to her. I said, "Is this real?" And so it turned out it was real, this German magazine, Tanz magazine. And I'd seen this thing they do every year, and I always think it's a joke because I never know the people they choose, and I think like, okay, like I don't believe in these things. So I thought it was a joke, and then after I realized it was me, I still was like joking around. I was at this Biennale in Wiesbaden, and I just kept joking about, I'm the dancer of the year, I'm the dancer of the year, I have my crown, la 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 la. I was making this joke about it. But then after a while, I started to realize that I was kind of excited that it was me. And I thought it was really interesting because it was me that they had chosen. And I thought, oh, okay, but why do you think you're different? Everyone thinks that every year, that it's nice that they're the person who's chosen. And then I thought, oh no, but it's, I'm really different because I'm not like the people they usually choose. So I was having all these conflicts about it, really. I really had internally. And so I just decided I had to do something with it. I felt like I had to really somehow problematize this publicly somehow for myself. So I decided to make this piece. And I think when I was working on it, I just felt that I had to somehow both do the same thing. Like I felt like, I feel like every year somebody could be the dancer of the year. Like I didn't feel, like something didn't make me feel special. Like I felt instrumentalized this year. Like I felt like that year, like, okay, they chose me because I stood for something that they want next year. And then next year they'll kick me to the curb and they'll choose somebody else. So am I really that special? So I felt like in some ways, I had to make a piece which both honor that fact that, yeah, this year I'm the one they instrumentalize, and next year they'll kick me to the curb, but in fact, I'm gonna keep the title for as long as I can, so I'm gonna make a piece. And I just decided that like all I could do was like dance. Like that's like in a way, but I wanted to dance in a way that was really meaningful, that somehow everyone, it could be possible that everyone could be Dancer of the Year, even though like it's a really, like I'm telling you all this because there are so many contradictions in what I'm saying, because I know in some ways what I do is special. Like I know like I do something that's very special to me, but I hope that thing that I do somehow is emblematic of this thing that you're talking about, that everyone like somehow just puts on the music and dances. And in a way, like we're all special, and we all have feelings, and we all like can get very emotional, and we all can like, you know, turn around and feel that we're like, you know, on the red carpet. You know what I mean? Like I wanted all those things. I want it to be everybody and yet only be me. And I don't know, that's the contradiction. Like I just felt that this was so important to say at this moment. And the last thing I would say is honestly, I feel like, fuck, you know, like the world is such a mess right now. Like no matter where you turn, like it's really a mess. And I honestly have come to the conclusion that the only thing that can save it is art. Like I think that is the only, I think we have all got to realize that the only thing that can get past these divisiveness between race and sex and nation and money and environment, I think the only thing that's gonna save us now is art. I really do think that this, like we just have to keep putting our work out there and getting into people's nervous systems and minds, and like, because I think art is one of the only things that can get into those places that's like contradictory and like kind of rewire it in a way that accepts those contradictions and yet makes space for all of us to like be present in the room and be present on the planet. And that's kind of what was so important to me, to like this kind of inclusiveness and yet this singularity. It was like trying to just stand up for like art in a certain type of way. And I just want to repeat that. I really think we all have to just get behind the art bandwagon right now, because the world, I really think, is like in a terrible place, and we all know it, and we all like kind of go about our lives, and like we're kind of like holding on, and we're kind of like looking at the news and kind of going, okay, you know, okay, I look a little bit, okay, because you just know it's just so fucking disastrous everywhere. And I really think we have all got to kind of realize that like art might be a kind of important medicine right now. So anyway, that's my little pulpit.
Thank you. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we had a little talk last night. I guess following up on that, the thing I wanted to ask you all guys about was family somehow, because we were talking about award because Alessandro won at the Venice Biennale, you won the Golden Lion for Lifetime Achievement. And that's a big, big award. And I was thinking like, well, what, like you were telling the story, and the thing that I was thinking about, because I had, as you can see, I have all these contradictory feelings about awards. Very passive aggressive. But anyway, but the thing that stuck with me, but what you were talking about last night, is I started to realize that like awards are one of the places where we can bring our family into the picture, and they understand somehow the value of what we do. Because sometimes I feel like my family, like I'm always really, like I had these friends who grew up in like Manhattan and New York and like Park Avenue, whatever, and they went to openings with their fans, or their friends were like famous, you know, parents had famous painter friends. This was not my life, you know. I grew up in a small town in Southeast Georgia. I think I went to a museum once with my mom, and but if my mom came and saw I had an award, like even though she may not understand the work that I did, she would understand that it was valued by the world. And there was something like you were saying, how your father wanted to walk down the street so that he could tell people. And I thought like how beautiful that is, because it's oftentimes art is the place in which we define ourselves separately from our family somehow, like how we begin to understand ourselves in the world. I don't know if you had, I just thought it was beautiful, this story you told about your father, maybe.
Yeah, it's funny because when I go back to my parents' house, I sit on the table and we have lunch and dinner together every day. When I'm there, I'm still acting like I'm 12, you know, and of course I'm always very tired when I get there, and I don't really want to talk about work, but they want to know, and I'm always very lazy. But when you have something so official like an award, yeah, it's not that now I talk more about my job with them, but in a way now they understand. It's not that they understand, but they have confidence about that. Yeah. And no, because I was telling yesterday at the dinner that once I called my mother and she told me that my father was not taking the car anymore, and she was laughing about that because she said that now he wanted to go always by walking because he was hoping to meet someone of his friends to say, oh, you know, my son got a prize, and and we were laughing about that, and because I remember the first time that they came to see me at the theater, they were kind of desperate when they saw the show, and then my father came to me and he said, so one day you think you're going to be a professional? Like to work in a professional company? And like for me, it was the best company I could have worked in my own life. You know, it was, and I don't have any brother or sisters, and this award was a pure joy for my friends and for my family. Like this was. Then at the same time, it was I was a little bit shocked because, in a way, I'm a very shy person. But at the same time, if I have to work, I know how to deal with the work and how to do that. But I like to do a very quiet life. So all of a sudden, there were people talking about this, and who were agreeing, who was very disappointed about that, and I was telling to Edita the other day that because of some critiques, you don't want to think about that. I got very used to receive also bad reviews about my work. It happens all the time, but in this case, I was feeling every time I was going to sleep, I realized I was thinking about that before falling asleep. So I had to kind of work on that, and it was not easy. That's why maybe I decided to take it slow even more, and to fix more day off in my schedule. Yeah, instead of going the other way around, and but I still, what I really remember about this award is me and my family taking a gondola and going into Venice, and there was this, we call it gondoliere, no? The person who leads the boat, who was saying very bad things and racist things about Chinese people. And it was horrible, but I didn't want to think about that because I just want this day to be perfect with my family. So that was beautiful in a way.
Well, and I guess we're talking about parents, because that, for me, it's not, family is the parents, and then I also have my own family, that is my children and my wife. And with parents, it is always been difficult to communicate what I actually do. And they're largely in the academics. My father is 85 now, and he still would like me to write a PhD or something. Like I spoke with him a week ago or I visited him, and I was like, well, I was thinking of doing some research because he wants to be useful. So I was like, okay, so I'll ask you for help, okay? I want to go there, and I actually want to meet people who could help me figure out how to get this done. And he's like, but you could also write a review of such and such work. And I'm like, I don't want to write a review. Hey, I don't want to write a review. So it's very hard to communicate this, because till the very day he assumes, and because my mom is passed away, but I think, I don't know if she was on the same page with him or not, but basically the written word is a written word. And what I do, I'm very proud that you're doing it, he says, but I don't think he really thinks that. And when if he heard that, he would get so offended, but he does, but it's foreign. It's still very foreign. It's like having a foreign thing that you kind of adapt to. And I have many stories of what it was at the beginning, kind of like how they would react to that whole idea of that. This is what I'm going to do now. Well, kind of along the lines of that you said, it's sort of like, I know you, he would say, and I don't think you can be happy somewhere very, very far in like the smallest town on earth where you'd be dancing in the lastest of rows. I don't think this is for you, son. So that was hard to kind of confront. Well, the awards things I never really had. I mean, I got a couple, but they were pretty small and very long time ago, so I don't think that they can get a kick out of that, but I guess what is interesting for me in this context of you is how, and it kind of is close, I think, I hope, to what you said about the art, saving the planet, which is obviously, we all know how horrible it sounds, but there is something about exchanging, like kind of what we're doing right now, or what happened when you were dancing, or what happened when you were dancing, or what happened when I was dancing. It's a way of it's an organized way of wasting time, which is not really wasting it, but it is an exchange that is valid. And this, I think, could save the planet if that happened more. So what I try to do right now is to actually go to galleries, because they're ready for Baroque things now.
I think so.
Yeah. And I try to go there and do very obvious, simple things for a bunch of people who would come. Because that's what I can do. This is what I can offer. I'm like, look, this is a story that I want to tell. If anybody wants to hear, great. And I think it's because with awards, I mean, I don't have that much experience, but I have experience with market. The thing of like you're in, you're out, which you mentioned. Like now you're on, and now you're out, and now you're in, and now you're out, and that's just going to keep happening. Like
what I loved about your piece was that. Just to clarify, I saw the version today that was not in English, so there was a lovely boy beside me who was trying to translate me, or at least resume the content of your speech. But I was more hypnotized from the sound of your words, and especially from the way you were using the language. And what it made me think about these questions is also the fact that what I like about this job is that audience, and we are as well audience, we are forced to go out of our house to take a car, find a parking, pay a ticket.
Not watch well on Netflix, give up on things as well.
Yeah, and be witnesses about something that is happening real time. And this nowadays is almost exotic, no? Because you don't do things like this anymore, no? And this is something that is really special about performing arts or music or whatever. And what I loved about your piece is that I was feeling like I was in a luxurious condition, like I was asking myself how you were feeling in that moment. So, how you were feeling in that moment? Maybe it was not your intention to provoke this question in me, but so maybe it was coming out very often into me because I was more concentrating on you than on the content because of the language. But I was curious to notice.
Well, I think that everybody's interested in how you were feeling last night, because this open, that is epic. But yeah, I hear your question. I know what you're asking. Of course, there's a score. There's a certain task that I have to do, and if I do not do it, then I kind of suck. I mean, I can do it better or worse, but there's things that I have to keep going, preserve, sustain, because otherwise the story will not happen. So I have to keep the story going. And this is a task, and it's a discomforting, but whom am I speaking with, There's a thing you gotta do. You gotta do it till it's done. But apart from it, and this task is engaging. It's engaging emotionally, and engaging physically. It makes you tired. For some reason, makes me want to cry. I don't know why. I mean, I actually know why, but it's a completely different story. So there's a lot of things that I have to deal with, but they're very technical. Like my emotions, my body, light, time. Somebody who's definitely not interested in sitting in the first row. So my desire to scratch their face, things like this. That I have to deal with them. But it is luxurious, and I'm very conscious of it. And there's moments when I actually let it in. I'm like, this is it, The lights are on, we're sitting, I'm talking, you're listening. It's luxurious, it's beautiful. This is what I'm for. That's what I was made to do. And that is not only luxurious, but it's also satisfying. It's like you're home. And it doesn't have to be La Scala. Not for me. I don't need to be Rigoletto. I can be a guy who talks about Jesus, and you know the story, and I change it. You're like, no, that's not what happened. I'm like, yes, that's what happened, because you don't know, because I didn't tell you last time. This kind of exchange, and this is very satisfying, because this is what I think I was made to be, and I am that. So what more can I ask for? Well, I can ask for like another pair of shoes or things like that, but those are still, it's not my basic concern right now. However, it is my concern quite often, of course. So how did you feel when you were spinning it like a freak for 45 minutes with a disturbing smile on your face and all those things that everybody was like, ooh, now he's happy. Oh, he's scared. And so...
Actually, this thing of the 45 minutes, it's a little bit a legend because it's 35 actually, but...
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, no, but well, I'm not complaining. It's that many people say, I don't know why everyone say 45, but actually the music is only 25, so the piece is around 35 minutes. So.
But I didn't measure, I swear to God.
No, I'm joking, I know. I'm honored that people think that I do this for 45 minutes and instead of less. I mean, it's okay. But no, yesterday I had a kind of relief, because as I told you, we did it 2 days before outdoor with a little bit of wind, and I was very worried about the wind. So yesterday for me, coming here, it was I was feeling like I was very spoiled, like I was, in a very luxurious situation. And I mean, if I have to be honest,
You don't have to, but you can.
No, I can. I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you, but yeah, of course I was thinking about everyone, but I was mostly thinking about you because
I hear you.
Because I knew that today we had to meet, and I wanted this to succeed in a way, but not only this, but also the meeting. Yeah, the meeting. So I was thinking about you. You were one of the first persons that I saw when I went on the stage, and I know your face and I recognized you. So in a way, sometimes I was because I don't see anything when I spin. I just see the room spinning, so I cannot even check if I want. So how people, I just see the faces at the beginning and at the end. So sometimes I laugh, sometimes I'm moved because also I think about my life, I think about my memories, but most of the times I think about the faces that I saw at the beginning, and I'm asking myself how they are feeling now, and I try to connect in a way with them, because for me what is very interesting about this job is when you manage to share something with the people who are coming to the show, and when you feel that there is an exchange. And this piece is very fun in a way, because I don't know until the end if the exchange is there. I just realized at the end when I see the faces again and when I feel there is an applause. So I was thinking about you.
Well, I can understand that, really.
I was worried if you were, I kept thinking like, oh my God, is he gonna get sick? Of course, that's what you think about this nausea, but you don't have this. You perfected this. You see a point. You all have one point that you look at. No, you have a different technique.
Yeah, I was like, he totally has it down.
Because he doesn't. Because that was the one thing they used to teach you when you spin. Say you look at the same place every time you come around.
No, I just see the room spinning.
Really? And you don't, oh my God, you're with the room.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Some trick. I was like,
And what made you want to do it, spin?
It's a very long story, so I try to, it was a commission. I was involved in a European project that was about migration. So the first year we went to France, Croatia, Quebec, and British Columbia to receive informations about migration. So some of the informations were about immigration, about human beings. Like we went to Zagreb to the Center of First Assistance for Refugees. But at the same time, there was a lot about animals. And I was very fascinated about the migrations of the animals. Like, for example, we went to near Vancouver to talk with some biologists about the migration of the salmons. So, for example, the salmon born in the river, and then after a while he makes the first physical transformation to go from the water of the river to the water of the sea. Okay. Then he spends most of his lives in the sea, and then he has another metamorphosis to go back to the river. And he goes back in the same place where he was born, he reproduces himself and dies just after. So I was thinking about this circle of life, that is a very banal concept, but I was experiencing this in the salmons and in many other birds. And so there was this moment of my life I wanted to make a piece just with one movement. So I asked myself, what is the movement of migration? Of course, it's circle, it's turning, it's spinning. And so just, as I told you yesterday, I went to a room and I tried to do it on my own. And that was the start. And then, of course, I know that you don't see salmons or birds when you watch the piece, but I don't care. That was my version of this huge subject.
It was, because I was thinking, like, why? I remember, you ever seen the work of Laura Dean?
No, but many people told me about her.
Yeah. She was an American choreographer in I think she in her company maybe the early 90s, but she did a lot of spinning. But anyway, I remember seeing her in the beginning years, but when I was watching you, I think I was like, why are we fascinated by this? And I think it's because we can perceive of the infinite. Like there's something about watching you spin that we can perceive of the infinite even if we know it's imperceivable, or imperceptible. Mm-hmm. Like when you're spinning, somehow I feel that I can touch the infinite. Yeah.
Yeah, there is this. There are many things that we could say about that. But if you think about children, about when they are very little, they put spinning thing around them to make them quiet. No, so there's something there for sure. Yeah.
But there is also a lot of, you know, I don't know. It's not like we're going to digest your piece right now, but there is a lot of things that are just simply beautiful and in a very non-pushy way, like not for sale, like you're just there. So it's a gift. And then there's a lot of things about shapes and turning which have a story to it. You don't know what the story is, you might not understand it, but you know it because it's somewhere in you. So you recognize it, and when you recognize it, makes you happy. So people when they actually can understand one thing or recognize, they get just so excited and they go like, yeah, I know. This is in Basque and I'm Basque, and this says dog and I know what it means, and this is a moment when this happens. So I think it was saturated with this kind of non-narrative narration of shapes and beauty, and it was just like really generous. You know, I know it's one movement, but it's like a big dish.
Actually, I'm very fascinated from the things that I don't know. Like I remember when I was very little, I was hypnotized by this little insect that go all together in the same direction, and I was watching that, and I was asking myself, like, how do they know where they have to go, or who was teaching this to them, and I remember I was in my bed, trying to sleep, and I was thinking about the infinite, and I thought, how can we continue to live? How can we continue to do the things that we are doing every day without having the answer to the question, the biggest question, So how is it working? And as a child, I was very shocked that not everyone was talking about this. So I had this idea of...
Because you have to go to Russia for this.
Why?
Well, if you read Russian literature, it's all about, is there God or is there no God? And this is kind of like from the morning till the dusk, kind of. I'm kidding, of course.
Actually, I'm reading Dostoevsky these days.
There you go. Karamazov's papers. It's a basic thing. I'm sorry, I cut in.
No, it's okay. I was just saying that I'm very fascinating more about the mystery than about the answers. So that's what I try to do with my work. I try to speak about that more than trying to find the answers, because actually we don't know the answers, and that's the thing. And if I have to be honest, I was... When the kind of pieces, I don't know why I always say if I have to be honest, but the kind of pieces that I like also to watch as a spectator are the pieces that are telling me about this mystery. And tonight it was very clear for me when I was watching you that I was connected with someone bigger than just 200 people in a room doing something. We were connected with something that is very much more older than us and mysterious in this way, no?
Can I ask this? I know you're gonna, I don't know, but what's this? This thing?
I don't know.
I also thought about that. What is this? This? Yeah.
I have no idea. No. I mean, I made it, but I mean, it just, and I do it every time, but I don't know. No, I don't know.
It looks like it's like a code. Like you're saying, like this is the word that is coded, and he knows what it means. And I was like, I have to find out.
No. I mean, no, I don't know.
No, that's fine. And that's okay. I mean, please don't.
I mean, it made me. I mean, when you guys were talking, I think the thing I'm more aware of these days is like, I'm very, I'm very honored for the time I spend. I always talk about the time I spend dancing, and I feel like it's not infinite, it's finite, and that I was injured, and I had to take a month off, and I realized I'm not gonna dance. I was thinking like, okay.
You're not gonna dance forever?
I'm not gonna dance forever. And not only am I not gonna dance forever, but I was thinking like, oh, I maybe have like
a limit.
12 years more? Like I really could start to define it. Like 10, okay, yeah, maybe I have 10, but like I don't think I have 15 in me.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, wow, that's really something. Like
Yeah.
to say, okay, I don't have 15 more
Yeah.
years left in me. Like, how do you spend that time? And what does it mean to stop? Like, how does one stop? Because
Yeah.
I remember being in New York and everyone was always quitting, but no one ever quit. But I was much younger, but I never understood why they were having these qualms about quitting. And I just wondered if you all had thought about that, like how will you stop dancing? Because I was saying recently that I really want to be I really want to do it. Like I don't want it to be like, okay, is he gonna stop? When is he gonna, like I really want to make a statement like, okay, now I stop. Even if I don't do it, I want to try. And I wonder if you thought about that. Like, have you thought about what it will mean to stop?
I thought about it many times.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say every day, but I don't think about this anymore because it's boring. Because I never come up with an answer. I had a couple of official crises, kind of like I'm done, and that for some reason it never happened. Some of them were technical. Some of them were just because it was a lie, really. But I don't imagine myself as, as dying on stage or, in Grand Plié or something. I don't think this is going to happen to me, honestly. Plus, I like not working as well. I actually like to be this is it. Now I'm going home. I'm going to get high and watch TV. And that's what I like to do. And
Praise
so it's
Jesus.
not, it's not like I have to dance. But I really want to, and I really enjoy that. And I really think that this is what I should do. So it's kind of, it's kind of like thinking about dying. Like, how many times am I going to think about dying? Like, I'm going to die one day, and that's it. So I kind of don't go there. I tried a couple of times, and then I was kind of not having an answer. I wish I had a very clear, I wish I at least had an image like you do, that I'm going to quit and punkt det. This is it, I'm done. But I don't even have that. I'm sort of, how we all think that we're actually going to live forever, even though we know we won't. Yeah. But we actually kind of fantasize that we will. People are, but, or have these images of how this is going to be an Irish wake and how all my friends are going to come. And it's not going to be like this. It's going to be some horrible thing. So saying, but I just can't worry about it now. Plus, maybe it will just wear off one day. Maybe it's just, but it's not yet. So I'm kind of more
you're open to keeping dancing.
Yeah, I'm sort of there's all these devices that you can have and still do it, sort of thing.
You're in the Merce Cunningham School.
Yeah, I'm you can do it. I'm George Bush getting reelected.
Okay.
You can do it. You can. I don't want to look at the shadow because it's easy for me to look at the shadow. I just get sad, and nobody gets anything out of it. Doesn't make sense, really.
And you?
I don't know, because for me it's very different. I don't have a physical need to dance. Yeah, sometimes on my own in my house, and I love to do that. But I used to be a performer, an actor actually for 10 years, always for the same director, always for the same woman, and it was such a radical experience because it was one of these old theater company that were coming from the Grotowski school. So Grotowski.
It was a joke.
No, it's true. So theater was something very important. Was a religion. And then when I quit the company, I was 29, and I never did a piece on my own. But then it happened quite automatically that since I didn't have the eye of the director anymore that was watching at me, I didn't have any reasons to move again on the stage. So for me, the changing between being an interpreter and being a choreographer was that in a way I transformed myself into that eye. So I was only able to watch and put other people on the stage. So in 2010, then I decided, okay, but come on, you should do something again because you know how to do that. So I did my first solo. And then when I did my first solo, I got tired of being alone. So I did a group piece. And I did many group pieces. And after a while, I get tired of being with so many people. So I do another solo. And that's the second solo that I did, the one that you saw yesterday. And then I did another group piece. So I don't know how long this is going to last. It could last forever. As long as I get bored about something, it regenerates something else. But I know many people that are really addicted to movement. I don't know about you guys, but like people that if they don't move, you tell me. But that people, if they don't move for 5 days, they start having pain, or they really need to go to a studio to do something. I'm not like that. I don't have that in my. But because I don't think that in my daily life I'm a radical person. I need this and also being surrounded by radical people to feel I'm alive. And that's why I do this.
I mean, I think I don't have I must have the need to move, but it's more about this need to be in front of people and move and to somehow commune with people in this kind of theatrical thing. And I think giving that up publicly, like as a kind of engagement, I think is something I have to do at a certain point in my life, I feel.
I don't think so.
No?
No, I think you could keep going.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, go on, you can.
It feels like, touring, everything feels like a lot of, I don't know. It's good to hear that encouragement. I'll just take it for what it is.
You can do like small touring, like sort of like laundries around you, because
maybe.
There's audience.
Well, we have a date here in 2029 and 2024.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I love coming to Warsaw. It's my third time here, and I was saying that the two places I've been, like people always ask me, where did you go? You always go. Where do you think is really interesting? And I always say Warsaw and Glasgow. Yes. And it's so funny, this season I come back to Warsaw and Glasgow, do Glasgow in like 2 weeks. So it's very funny. No, but I think the energy here is really good, and people seem really interested in performance and dance, and and it just seems like there's something happening here. It reminds me, Hong Kong does that too a little bit. It reminds me a lot of the energy I felt in New York when I first got there that isn't there anymore. Like these talks, we had these talks in New York. And now you go to festivals, they don't really happen anymore. You don't really talk to artists, or you don't really share, or you don't really see things, or you don't really, it's sad, but it's true.
Well, in Berlin, all you do is talk to artists.
Really?
This you can do.
But in that way.
Well, in that way, maybe not, because no, you're right. In that way, no. But in the kind of way, like at the bar kind of way, like that.
No.
Yeah.
But it's nice. We have to stop? Because it's nice because but usually we were talking about this. The festival usually, like, you come in, you set up, you do your dance, you got to go. But like, it's rare that they ask you to stay and actually like see something, or come a day early and see something. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's rare.
No, totally.
And I think thank you for that, because I think it's really nice to be able to share, because that's one thing I truly miss. When I was in New York for those years, that's all we did. It was so intense, like I was sharing, going to see everybody's concerts, like, doing all that. And then once I started touring, I found that it was really hard to be with. I would see people in the various cities. I go to Paris, I see friends. I go to Berlin, I see friends. But it's like, it's at the bar after the show, and then you leave the next morning.
Yeah.
And it's rare that you really get to like continue conversations. And I think that continuum is a big part of what it means to me to be an artist that I've really missed,
I'm all for it, because I hate being alone in that sense as well, and I've felt that for very many years, and now I kind of don't, and I really want to celebrate it that I don't, and it took a very long time for me not to feel alone. and I don't. So I kind of want to protect that in a sense that yes, I'll come earlier, yes, I'll speak, yes, I'll do things, yes, I'll make an effort because I know that it's not obvious and for granted. You know, you might want to have to work for it. So you were making gestures of the trees.
But we should open up just a little bit to the audience, just a little bit, if y'all have anything to say or ask or anything, because we've been...
Yeah. Unless you disagree and you don't want to...
No, of course not.
Anything?
Thank you.
Like so.
Okay.
Nothing? Nothing?
No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
Please use the mic, right? Please use the microphone.
Well, thank you. It's really great to hear a self-moderated discussion. And no, honestly, like you're right. It's rare to hear artists speak to each other, actually, for the audience as well. And as I was watching your piece, Trajal, I was thinking what performance means to me. And I think it's not only about exchange. Like, for me, it's about a gift. Like, I really feel like I'm witnessing an offering. And I guess I wanted to thank you for this. Like, to be able to bear a witness to a body and soul that becomes this carrier of affects. And what you said about dance, like how you, I mean, to witness a body in this state of self-abandon and ecstasy to the point when you almost like exhaust yourself and share these extreme emotions with us is incredible. And also about the music, like about this particular selection, I really enjoy it. I feel like in recent contemporary choreography, at least, there's this abundance of post-club minimalist music that serves as a, I don't know, way to describe communion, but you can also describe communion and empathy through, like this music was also minimalist in a way that it had repetitive passages and you know, you put yourself into this state, and I really appreciated that, and I wanted to thank you. And thank you both. I'm sorry I speak about Trajal, but it's, I guess this can be said about like everything that you do as choreographers and dancers. But maybe it's a question to all of you about this dual agency of choreographers and dancers. I know it's a tired question, but if you stop dancing, can you still would you envision yourself to choreograph piece for others?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't know. I just been put in charge of making a dance ensemble at the Schauspielhaus Zurich, and I'm gonna try to do some pieces that I'm not in, but I don't know. Like, we were talking about that. Like, I get. I mean, like, I'm so into being with you. Like, I love being with you. I love this moment. Like, I just want to eat you. I just want to be with each of you. I just want to, like, kiss each of you. I just want to give you everything I have in that moment. And, like, I don't get the same watching my work. And so I don't know why I would keep doing it. Like, I haven't found that same, you know, gusto doing as a choreographer on the outside. I know that it's possible. And I see models of people who do it, but that's why I say I think maybe I have 12, 15 years left in me, because just from my energy, like doing stuff, like I am a dancer choreographer. I for a while I thought, I mean, I should say this. And this piece, maybe it was it was not this piece, but it was another piece I did called The Return of La Argentina. I always thought of myself as a choreographer. Like, I really came, like very similar. I did theater before dance. I did gymnastics before theater. And I came to dance late, and I came as a choreographer before I was a dancer. So I really thought of myself as a choreographer. I never found anyone's work I wanted to be in their company or something, I say choreographer. I was not like, oh, I saw this person's work and I wanted to study their dance. I always knew I wanted to do my own work because I could only do my own work. And then I discovered, fell in love with Kazuo Ono. Many years later, I had seen Kazuo Ono, who's a Buto master dance in New York many years. I was not impressed. I thought he was this very interesting old man. And then one day I was in Japan. I was doing this research on Buto. This is my research now. And I went to Kazuo Ono's archive, which was in a little garage of his ex-manager's house. And I put in the CD of Return of the Admiring La Argentina. And I was like, wow, this is what dance means to me. I finally found someone who embodied what I thought dance meant to me and the kind of dancer I wanted to be. And that changed, and then I became a dancer. I became a dancer. Like all of a sudden I knew what dance meant to me, and that changed, and then I became a dancer, and I feel like that's what I want. But I don't want, Kazuo Ono, I think Dancy was 108. I don't see that for myself. Publicly, I mean, on stage and performances.
Maybe he didn't know that he was going to last so that, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
as well. We don't know.
But I mean, the thing he did, he loved dancing. Like, supposedly, like, if you came to his house, you know, like, people would go visit him in his house, and he would just dance for you. Like, he would just take you to the studio, he would just dance, and he just loved dancing. Supposedly, even when he was, you know, in a wheelchair, like Cunningham, he still wanted to dance and perform. And so maybe that's the thing that takes over in the end. Like I say this 15 years, and then 15 years comes, and I just still want to dance no matter what, because I do really love it. More than I love watching people do my choreography dancing. I would prefer to watch you dance than to watch my work dance, me not in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love watching other people dance. I love watching dance, but not my own dance that I'm not in. Somehow I haven't gotten that bug yet.
Do you have anything to say about that? Dancer choreographer duality?
Love?
Love? No. No.
Bar.
Bar, love?
Bar. Yeah, bar.
Well, can I say that? Because
go.
a friend of mine says that I'm in a kids piece with a friend who's French, and he's pink and I'm mint. And the show is for kids from like 0 age. It's very simple.
Oh, wow.
But it's actually quite hard because we run around and, you know. And he says that at the end with a French accent, and I love when he says this. Thank you for the coming.
Perfect. Thank you.